Greetings and salutations. Welcome to Knife Chats with Tobias. Okay, 3x3 knives, entry 1, day 2, and now we're looking at another set of knives from Rough Rider. This time the ArrowHead pocket knives, custom designed by Brian Yellowhorse. There were actually 12 knives in the original series of ArrowHead knives, and they did not feature a fixed blade. They did have one locking blade. The rest were all slip joints. However, a few years later, they came out with one more knife that was advertised as an ArrowHead pocket knife, and that one was a fixed blade. And interesting enough, we've seen another knife that was very similar to it. Here we have it. It is the ArrowHead little neck knife, again with the same Kydex sheath that could be worn around the neck, and again just a nice little short knife, you know, with that nice drop point blade going on there. 440A stainless steel blade, and again we'll show the length here. It comes in right at under, like, well, right over 3 1/4 inches, with a blade that's 1 3/4 maybe cutting edge, almost 1 1/2 inches on that cutting edge, and then the nice little neck sheath that goes with it. And we have the imitation turquoise that was designed for the Brian Yellowhorse knives. Now, when these came out, they were not advertised as an ArrowHead pocket knife designed by Brian Yellowhorse, but they are using the exact same imitation turquoise that was used in all the Brian Yellowhorse knives. And the only reason I bothered to pick it up is because it matched the ArrowHead series, and that's really why I got it. Now, as you can tell, this one does not have the shield that was on the ArrowHead knives. We'll see that shield in just a little bit. But at the same time, the other two knives that were issued at the same time, the Stoneworks one here, well, Stoneworks knives did not have shields to begin with. Now, this was the, I believe this is the RR37. No, this is the RR1238. This was the RR1237. And they also had a third one. All three of these came out at the same time, and that was the brown jig bone, and this was the RR1236. And as you can see, it also doesn't have a shield. And quite often, you know, a fixed blade knife doesn't have a shield on it. A lot of them don't, at least. Obviously, I went and grabbed all three. This one I bought a little later. These two I grabbed right away because of the Stoneworks series that I had, and then the ArrowHead series that was designed by Brian Yellowhorse. And this really does match that series quite nicely, so that's why I grabbed it. And that's the fixed blade for my ArrowHead pocket knife series, even though it is more or less an unofficial knife. It is not an official portion of that 12 knife series. This was one that came out about 2 years after the run of the series, and that series was never run again. And this is the only other knife where Rough Rider or Smoky Mountain Knife Works used this imitation turquoise in the handles. The other two knives that I'm going to pop out and show is, well, the Baby Sunfish. This was one of the original knives in the series, and we can see here that the turquoise has all that lumpy bumpy stuff going on it, along with the blue and the black going on in there. And I really do like the way this looks. I also just like the way it feels in the hand. And the Baby Sunfish, this is a 3-inch long sunfish knife. You got the big fat blade there, which is bigger than the fixed blade or at least longer than the fixed blade blade. So this one comes in right at 2 inches as well, but has 1 3/4 inches for cutting, maybe a little bit more. As I said before, it's a 3-inch baby sunfish, so we see there that it is 3 inches long closed. And then it's got this wee little blade over here, that little pen blade, big fat pen blade, or short fat pen blade, little stubby, 1.25 inches long, with a cutting edge that is a little bit over 1 inch, because, well, you can see that it goes all the way back there. But this is just a cute little knife, I think. And it does have the ArrowHead shield going on there, if we can see right there. And it's got the bolsters that were designed by Brian Yellowhorse. And it's just a really cool knife. And it's a nice match for this one. And then the lockback. Now there are 2 lockbacks in the ArrowHead series, but I think I'm just going to show you the one. Maybe at the end I'll show you a sneak peek of the other one. But for this video, we'll look at the Mustang. Now for those unfamiliar with the Mustang lockback, this is what it looks like. It's a big one. It's the biggest of all these knives right here. It comes in, I believe, at almost 4 inches. Yeah, about 3 3/4 inches long. The blade length is about 2.5 with a cutting edge that's a little over 2.25 inches. Nice lockback. The lock is all the way on the back there. And you've got that finger choil up front that goes into the blade. And I do not know who came out originally with the Mustang design handle. It might have been a Parker design originally, I'm not sure. But it's just a really cool little knife. And we can see here the ArrowHead shield again. And you can see the turquoise with the black veining going in there. And I don't know, I just really kind of dig that. Yeah. Now the handles are definitely not genuine turquoise. I don't even think they're a synth stone. I believe they are a resin handle, but I love the way they did these resin handles. I especially like the way they got the veins running through the turquoise and everything, and just the overall texture of the handles. It's not like any other turquoise knives that I have, and that's really what sets these apart. As for the texture, it is not bumps that go constantly through the knives. They're different from knife to knife, the bumps in the handle, which is pretty cool. Usually you can see the machine made portion of all that bumps and everything, but you don't see it in this one. So the bumping pattern or whatever, however they molded this or cut this or whatever, it must have been a larger sheet, and then they cut it down to fit the different handles. And so no two are exactly alike, which is really cool about them. So I know a lot of people had an issue with these knives when they first came out because you know, it's a Brian Yellowhorse designed knife that was made in China. And, well, you know, they just felt cheated that somebody of the Yellowhorse name would go and do something like that. You use a knife or make a knife in China and stick their name on it. But I'm totally okay with it. And I really like the fact that Rough Rider or Smoky Mountain Knife Works decided to issue this little neck knife in the same material, because it allowed me to show a couple of my ArrowHead knives again in this 3x3 knives series. And so there we have it, 3x3 ArrowHead pocket knives designed by Brian Yellowhorse, more or less. Oh, and as for the other lockback and the ArrowHead pocket knives designed by Brian Yellowhorse, it was this one, the Longhorn. Yeah, a double lockback, which is also pretty cool. So maybe we'll see this knife in a future 3x3. let me take just a second to thank you once again for dropping by and spending a few minutes here at Knife Chats with Tobias. I really do appreciate it, and I do appreciate any comments that you leave. So please remember to give me that thumbs up, and also don't forget to subscribe and ring that notification bell so you'll know when the next episode is up and running. Thanks again for dropping by. Really do appreciate your time here.